Morning, guys. How you doing?
Very, very
Very well.
well. Thank you for being with us this morning. And we're going to obviously focus very much on Chelsea and the season that they've had. Good victory on Monday night against Fulham, but it's still been a bit of a dodgy start from Mauricio Pochettino. What have you yourself made of it?
Well, I think I didn't expect anything much, at the beginning of the season because we know that it was a real mess with all the players they had, and I think there weren't any chemistry between them because of the type of player that they decided to get. They're mostly inexperienced players. They're definitely talented, but they have to grow and it takes some time to get the result that you want sometimes. And for those players, it's going to take a long time to see them being the best of themselves. And this season, I saw so many experienced players leaving, Kovacic, Kante, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't been replaced in the middle of the park. So I already said in July that it's going to be very difficult for them to get results because you don't play in the present, you play in the future with those players. So it's complicated, and we still. Well, Chelsea still didn't resolve the main problem, getting a striker.
Frank, when you look at this squad of players and you see the struggles that they've had, how long will these Chelsea fans accept not finishing in top four? Is that the minimum this season of a top four finish?
Yeah, but it won't happen. I don't see it happening. If Chelsea finishes right now, Chelsea is a mid-table club.
Oh,
You have to be realistic. You have to stop dreaming. Um, Compare it to any other club, it's getting better right now because there are good results in Carabao Cup and in the Premier League. But we're going to see against Arsenal very soon how it works. But really, again, if some fans are expecting Chelsea to finish in the first four, uh, well, they really, I would be very surprised. And for me, they're real dreamers.
Um, I mean, for all the money that they spent to finish mid-table, obviously would be very below expectations, I'm sure, from the owners. But let's move on to what happened last night, if we can, at St James's Park, Frank, where Newcastle were 4-1 winners over PSG. A lot of the headlines in terms of the negativity surrounding PSG is centering on Kylian Mbappe's performance. Again, a lot of people are saying he had a bad attitude and are questioning his attitude, especially as during the summer we were thinking he might be leaving PSG. Are we? Is it unlucky that he's receiving all this criticism because Newcastle did such a good job on PSG in general?
Yes, yes, I think you're right. I think people are focusing on the problems where you should focusing on the fit of Newcastle's team and what they achieved. They were absolutely fantastic, and I predicted that result. I said it would be a 3-2. It was a 4-1, but I love the spirit of the team of Eddie Howe and the way they worked last year, and they lost it at the beginning of the season. They're getting these things back again this season, which is the fighting spirit, which is the main thing that I discovered when I came to England, where I realized that you had to be a warrior in order to play football. Being talented, having the technique is not enough in my football. And in a modern time, it seems to be that you keep the ball, and after you get the opponent gets tired, and you score goals. And what I saw with Lens the night before, and I saw yesterday with Newcastle, is that you come back to our all time, where if you have the fighting spirit, if you have the commitment and the determination, you can beat anybody. And Paris Saint Germain doesn't exist at all. For me, the first responsible for Paris Saint Germain's defeat is Luis Enrique.
Mm.
You have to respect football and you have to respect your opponent. Playing at four at front at St James's Park, you don't know St James's Park then. It's hell. If you think that you're gonna go and just play football without fighting, with just any counter pressing, you're wrong. It's true that Kylian Mbappe, but also Colomwani or Dembele didn't work enough when they lost the ball, and unfair to say that Kylian Mbappe doesn't do that. He did it since the beginning of the season. So he was really committed to Paris Saint-Germain. But yesterday, nothing happened. But even the skipper, Marquinhos, made a mistake. But overall, how do you want to cope with 12 men? Because that was it was for Newcastle. 12 men fighting when you are only 2 players in the middle of the park. You lose the ball in the middle of the park, you lose the game.
But Frank, PSG, they're desperate to win the Champions League, aren't they? Their owners didn't work with Lionel Messi, hasn't worked with Neymar. Mbappe will probably leave maybe next season. When will this team win the Champions League? Because that team I watched last night don't look close.
No, of course not. Well, it can improve, They played well against Dortmund, so maybe that was an accident. Let's see before making any statement. But you're right. It's been a long time since they wanted to achieve something great, winning the Champions League. They almost did it when they lost against Bayern Munich some years ago. But remember Manchester City, how long it took to Manchester City to get the Champions League. They had to lose once, and they had to try to fight a lot in order to get it last season. So I want to give a chance. I don't want to bury them too early, but they made so many mistakes, and the atmosphere and the what they showed to I would call myself specialist. It's everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. You cannot win in that order. You have to find a squad. You have to work before putting sparkles into your team. And they forgot the basics. The basics is hard work. Players who are working very hard, and then you put 1 or 2 stars who can make the differences. But don't do that first and try to find the basics, because people who are coming, they don't understand why they have to work so hard for those players who don't achieve anything.
Yeah, it's been a difficult start for PSG as well. Domestically, they're 5th in the table currently. And another side perhaps struggling is Marseille as well. They're 12th in the French league, and they're taking on Brighton tonight in the Europa League, Frank. In terms of people that may not watch the French league week in, week out, what can Brighton expect from Marseille?
The atmosphere will be unbelievable. I was talking about Lens and also Newcastle yesterday. They're going to face 62,000 crazy fans, but they can reverse that very quickly if they play the way they played against Manchester, for example, and let's say at the beginning of the season, and they keep calm and they keep the ball and they do what they have to do, like they know how to do. The fans going to reverse and they're going to start booing their own players. But they have to be patient. They will have to be very strong. Will have to be defensively very strong first, and let's see, because I think some craziness is going to happen at the beginning. But overall, I saw Marseille. It's the second game and the first game for the new coach Gattuso. Mm-hmm. So it's going to bring the pride to the players. You're going to say, okay, now we're going to play for our lives. So give everything. Brighton will have to be patient and strong defensively, but with the talent that they have, I'm sure they can get a result. Let's see.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.